Hi folks, my name is Jannine and I've come along here today to show you some baking. So we're going to make a quick fruit tart, which is really quick and really easy to make. So, as I said, my name's Jannine. I have a little cafe out at Monymusk and a bed and breakfast there as well. It's called Grant Arms Cafe, and we do a lot of scones and a huge amount of baking and cakes and coffees, and people cycle out there or come out for a nice walk up the River Don. So if you happen to be out that way once this is all over, then do look us up. So at the moment I'll just get cracking on with this. We're going to make a base which is kind of a cross between pastry and a scone base, and then we're going to fill it with some lovely fruit. So to make the base, we'll start off with that first of all because it's good to let it sit for a little while if you can. So the base is made of self-raising flour, some Greek yogurt, but you can actually use ordinary yogurt if you have it, a little bit of sugar and a wee glug of olive oil, which might seem a strange thing to put into a pastry base, but it actually works really well. So to make pastry, we're taking some self-raising flour. We're going to take about a cupful of self-raising flour, pop that into there, and then roughly the same amount of yogurt. Put that over there just now. That's so you can see that. So that goes in with the flour. One spoonful of sugar, brown sugar, white sugar, whatever kind of sugar you have. And then also about just maybe a spoonful, just less than a spoonful of olive oil, or if you only have vegetable oil, just use vegetable oil. That all goes in together. Give that a good stir up. You just give it a good mix around, and you'll see eventually it comes into a kind of dough. If it's looking a little bit dry, like this one is, just give your yogurt a good scrape out. See, I've actually left way too much in there. See, now it's starting to come together into a nice ball. And then what we do is we'll just leave this sitting for a few minutes while we prepare our fruit. It's best to leave it to sit for about 20 minutes if you can. We won't leave ours for that long just because it'll take way too long. But if you're just doing this at home, then just let it sit in a nice wee ball in there for about 20 minutes. Okay, so we put that to one side. Thanks very much. We've turned the oven on to about 180 just to get that warmed up so we're good to go. And I'll just prepare our fruit now. So you can basically do this with any fruit that you happen to have. So today, I was going to do rhubarb, but of course I forgot to bring my rhubarb, so that was a pity. So we have some lovely strawberries and some pears because they were left in the fruit bowl. But you could use your rhubarb, you could use some raspberries, cooking apples if you have cooking apples, but it's also really, really delicious with plums. It's not quite plum season yet, but if you get hold of some plums and can use that, they're absolutely delicious. So what we do is, to prepare the pear, just cut it into quarters and taking the core out of the middle. We're going to have some strawberries as well. So I'm just going to halve the strawberries. So that's about 6 strawberries there. I'm going to pop them into the bowl. Sorry, like that. And then just going to cut the pear into kind of smallish chunks. There we go. So that's the fruit. just a wee sprinkle of sugar. And we'll give that a mix around. And what that does, that just starts to get the juices getting released out of the strawberries. So that's our fruit prepared there. Looking yummy. Right, so what we do now is we put a little sprinkle of flour on our board. And we take our pastry. Now, I said earlier you would really let this sit about for a little bit longer. But hey, it'll be fine. So we give it a bit of a squidge together. And then you can either use a rolling pin, or you can, if you haven't got that, just press it out into a bit of a circle. Maybe turn it over a bit and don't squash your apron into it at the same time. And don't try and just move it about so it doesn't stick to the board too much. Right, so we'll give it a bit of a roll out, I suppose. Depends how wet you make it, actually, whether you need to roll it or whether you can just get it pressing it out. So give this, keep your rolling pin well covered with a bit of flour. Right, and then we're just rolling it out into a rough sort of circular shape. It doesn't have to be fancy. And then we're going to pop it on our baking tray. Right, so just lift up carefully and plop it on there. And then there's a couple of things that you can do. You've got your fruit sitting there, but what I have got here is just some ground almonds. So if you have ground almonds, then you just give a bit of a sprinkle on top of the pastry, just in a wee layer there. It's not so desperate with the fruit that I've got just now, but if you think if you're cooking rhubarb, a lot of juice comes out. So the almonds absorb all the fruit juice and make it really a lovely base. And then you take your fruit and you're just going to kind of plonk it. That's good, I think we'll use all of that. I think it might be a bit piled up a wee bit. Like that. And then, that's your fruit in the centre, and then all you do is you just pull up the edges like this, so that it doesn't fully enclose the fruit. See that there? I'm just going to pop that into the oven at 180, and it'll take maybe 25 minutes altogether, but we'll take it out 10 minutes before the end of that and give it a glaze. Okay? Great, super. So the tarts are, singular, sorry. So the tart is just about ready, so it probably needs about another 5 minutes or so cooking. So what we're going to do is just take it out of the oven. It's been in there for about 20-25 minutes, and we're just going to give it a little bit of a glaze, just so it looks nice and glossy. You don't have to do this, it'll taste exactly the same whether you glaze it or not. So you've got an egg, free range, of course, and we're just going to add a tiny little splash of water to that. Make that a little whisk together. And then I've got my pastry brush, and just give this a brush all around the edges. Like so. And then the last thing that you can do is just sprinkle over, if you have any, sprinkle over some flaked almonds. Again, you don't have to do this, but it just gives it a nice bit of crunch. It's all about texture and flavour and things, so I love flaked almonds. So put some of them around the edge, and then we're just going to pop that back in the oven for another 5 minutes just to cook off the glaze, and then we'll serve it up. Okay, right, well I think that should be our tart ready to come out of the oven now, so we'll have a quick look. Yeah, so that's looking not too bad. You can see it's got a nice little glazed brown colour, and the almonds have just started to colour up as well. So what I'll do is, I'll see if I can plate this up for you. It's been in the oven for about 30 minutes or so, and the fruit's nicely softened and the base is nice and crispy. So this would serve about 4 people, I think, or less if you're hungry. But it's quite a nice way to finish off your meal, and it's very good for getting some healthy fruit into you as well. So pop that there. And then what you can do is just serve it with some cream or a little bit of ice cream. I've got some more yoghurt here, so I'm just going to put a little dot of yoghurt on the side of that as well. And that's us good to go. Here we are, thank you for watching.